stumbled upon a chilling discovery in the Boundary Waters. Williams located an abandoned camp off the Sioux Hustler Trail, with the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office report describing a large amount of blood inside a hammock and a sleeping bag. Beyond the blood-stained hammock and sleeping bag, other strange circumstances hinted at something deeply disturbing having taken place at the remote campsite. Officer Williams later recalled, "It's in a super remote place. If you were looking for a spot to avoid contact with people, he really did find it. We were kind of just taking it in, a visual inventory. We noticed a large amount of blood everywhere." The hammock was slung under a green tarp that hung over a guy wire. A 9mm Beretta pistol was found inside the hammock, along with 2 loaded magazines. Blood splatter covered the walls of the tarp. Despite the initial search of the campsite, there was no sign of Grider. However, the effort was hindered by 2 to 4 feet of snow covering the area. Williams and his team decided to wait for the snow to melt and to return later. It took nearly another month for the snow to melt, and before conditions allowed the men to continue the search. A team of 20 to 30 people along with cadaver dogs searched the area for days. 10 bones were found, including a possible femur and a possible forearm. A shredded jacket and other torn bits of clothing were also found at the campsite. 2 more bones were discovered days later further from the site by cadaver dogs. The skull of Jordan Grider was never found. Whatever happened to Jordan Grider occurred soon after he arrived in the area in October 2018. The research team believed he had spent only one night at his final campsite. Evidence suggested he had burned a single fire and prepared just one meal, leading to the suspicion that he had died on his first night in his camp. Grider's cell phone was recovered at the campsite and later analyzed. The last messages sent and received were on October 9, 2018. A group text message to the family stated how much grain and beans he had bought, and that he was prepared for a long winter. The last image on the phone was the same image he had sent to his family on October 8th, showing the surrounding nature of his campsite. There was nothing on the phone that could help explain how Grider had died. Suicide was ruled out because the gun hadn't been used, and Grider's cell phone didn't include anything that indicated he was suffering from depression or contemplating self-harm. Wolf prints and scat were found at the campsite, but if a wolf attack was involved, it was more than likely post-mortem. The key piece of evidence is that most of the blood was found inside the hammock. In addition, the tarp and hammock were largely intact, making a wolf attack highly unlikely, let alone an attack by an entire pack. Wolves are typically very messy with their kills, and if this had been a wolf attack, the evidence would have been unmistakable. The tent and hammock would likely have been torn to shreds. Since there were no rips or tears in the hammock or tarp, it was unlikely a pack of wolves attacked Grider while he was in the hammock. A wolf kill features greater signs of a struggle, and the resulting mess to have been even more pronounced. If wolves make a kill, the scene where the blood and remains are is a huge scene of disturbance. The blood smears across a large area. The other question is, why didn't Jordan reach for the Beretta in his hammock if wolves had attacked? Additionally, wolf attacks on humans are extremely rare. Only 2 confirmed attacks have been recorded in Minnesota in the last 100 years. Across the entire North American continent, only 2 wolf attacks have occurred in the past 20 years, causing the deaths of 22-year-old Kenton Carnegie in Saskatchewan in 2005 and of Candace Berner in Alaska in 2010. And if animals like wolves or bears had removed Grider's body post-mortem from the hammock, why was it left undamaged? The police does not believe an animal attack was responsible, as there was no damage to the campsite, aside from torn clothing. Although there is still no clear explanation for the disappearance and death of Jordan Grider, the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office stated, "The exact cause of death could not be determined, but based on all the evidence recovered at the scene and family statements, foul play was not suspected. Unless additional evidence related to this investigation is uncovered, this investigation is now officially closed. The camp of Jordan Grider, in the northwestern part of the BCWA, close to the Canadian border, lies of course in a region long believed to be part of the territory of the Sasquatch, dating back to prehistoric times. The famous pictographs of Hegman Lake are less than 20 miles from where the Jordan Grider campsite was found. The natives of northern Minnesota and Ontario believe that the forests of the BWCA are indeed inhabited by beings that are hostile and extremely territorial. If Grider had accidentally entered such an area, he might have been attacked and killed. Algonquin mythology contains numerous stories of hunters or wanderers whose bodies were found with missing heads. The Algonquin also believe that the BWCA, and northern Minnesota in general, has been home to various Sasquatch clans since prehistoric times. The strange circumstances surrounding the death of Jordan Grider remain unsolved until today. It appears that Grider was attacked inside the hammock. But if Grider was killed by wolves or a bear, or had accidentally or intentionally taken his own life, and animals had removed his body post-mortem, why was the hammock still undamaged? If an animal had attacked Jordan Grider, why didn't he attempt to use his Beretta? According to the police, the gun had not been fired during the events leading to his death,